federal agents converged on 30-year-old Turkish national Rumeysa Öztürk Tuesday night and wrestled her phone from her hands. The Tufts University PhD student cried out in distress. Öztürk's attorney says she was on her way to break Ramadan fast with friends when the 6 agents confronted her. They appeared to be in plain clothes, wearing masks, and driving unmarked vehicles. Prompting questions from Öztürk and concerned neighbors.
Is this a kidnapping?
In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security said Öztürk was detained because she'd, quote, engaged in activities in support of Hamas, adding that her student visa had been terminated. DHS did not provide specifics about those alleged activities. Amid pro-Palestinian protests on campus last year, Öztürk did co-author a 2024 op-ed in the school paper, calling on Tufts to acknowledge the Palestinian genocide and divest from Israel. The piece made no mention of Hamas.
Wow, that's very serious. Just imagine you walking down the street and some strangers approach you and try to kidnap you. Right, that's a very scary thought, And she was a 30-year student, just walking down the street. I've tried to break the Ramadan with the fast, Ramadan fast, to have dinner or meal with friends, and she got detained. So if you are a student, if you are living in the States on a student visa, residence, and then if one day, strangers come to you, it may not be ICE, it may not be a police. So how are you going to know? That's quite a scary thought. So the safest way is do not let any stranger approach you. At least they should wear a uniform, or at least they should show the badge right away. And they try to snatch the phone from her, and she didn't even have a chance to contact her friends or professors or stuff like that. And what she asked the lady for ID, they said, "Oh, what do the car? We're gonna show you later." So that's quite scary. So any criminal can impersonate police officer or ICE because there's a president here, a president that plain clothes, ICE or police were arresting top students. So that's quite a scary thought. So what do you think? Should ICE or police be wearing plain clothes to just arrest students? What do you think? And what did she do? What did she do? In this video, I'm going to tell you how to protect your student residency in the United States and what you can do. So let's continue watch this video.
Öztürk's attorney said charges had not been filed against her client, and even though a district judge ordered law enforcement not to move Öztürk outside of Massachusetts without 2 days' notice, DHS confirmed she was being held at an ICE detention facility in Louisiana Wednesday.
So even Massachusetts judge issued an order not to remove her without 2-day notice, and she was already on the way to Louisiana. So some people said they may have moved it before the judge order, or some people said they may just remove her after the judge order came out. So what do you think? If they remove her after the judge came out, so that means that they are defying the judge orders, right? If they remove before the judge order came out, they move pretty fast. So what do you think? Do you think that they remove her before the judge order or after the judge order? Comment down below. And what did she do? She just amid the protest on the campus, she wrote an article that the university, asking the university to acknowledge Palestinian genocide, and also the university to divest from companies with direct or indirect ties to Israel. There was nothing about her supporting Hamas, and this is just an opinion piece. And did she incite violence or protest? Right? If it's peaceful protest, usually it's covered by the Constitution, right? You have the freedom of speech. So let's see what her professor said about that.
It all prompted hundreds of people to protest near Tufts campus last night.
It's so surreal and heartbreaking.
Rayhan Bilgey is an assistant professor at Northeastern University. Ozturk was her student in Turkey.
She has never mentioned Hamas, let alone being either anti-Semitic or being anti anything. These are baseless, libelous accusations.
And Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey says she fears this could lead to a chilling effect for international students. I want to read you a quote that she gave. She called it a bad thing for science, research, and the economy if foreign students are afraid to come and study and live here and contribute. Tony.
So yes, I think it's a really bad thing that prevent future students from coming to study in the United States. What do you think? Do you think it's a kind of free speech suppressions or whatever? Comment down below. We're gonna look at the news piece that says, hey, this may be a free speech suppressions, or this could be just they are removing students with violence pass, whatever, the inciting protest, whatever it is, whatever the reason. We're gonna look at the Secretary of State Marco Rubio's statement as well, why they removed the students, and that's something we can learn from, and that you can possibly follow the laws of the United States properly, and if after listening to him. And at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you how you can protect your student residency visa in the United States. So let's go and watch this video. The hundreds of students' visas are revoked. So why?
It's across the United States. They are now at risk of deportation.
Attention car accident victims. The insurance companies hope you never discover this one fact.
Wait, what? We've seen the Trump administration revoke student visas in their effort to crack down on immigration. In recent weeks, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said many of the targeted students are, quote, lunatics who have participated in pro-Palestinian protests or activity. But supporters say the administration is targeting free speech. Let's take a
hundreds of students' visas are revoked. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said they are lunatics. Or do you think this is a targeting of free speech? Comment down below. Let's see why they revoke and what students can do if their student visas are revoked in this case. And she's gonna interview a Canadian American lawyer, immigration lawyer, and he used to have a student visa too. So in his professional experience, when this usually happens, what are the options that students have? And this time could be different. And what will be the different options that they have? So let's continue the scene.
At where this is happening, education publication Inside Higher Ed tracks at least 80 colleges and universities where students are affected. The State Department did not release any specific numbers on just how many visas were revoked, but Rubio says it could be more than 300. Take a listen to students describing the mood on campuses.
Look at that. Look at so many dots on the northeast side. Why do you think that is? Usually it's because there are more universities in the northeast, and there's nothing on right here. You see that's where international students visa was revoked. Some in California and some in south as well, and northwest, a few in northwest. So why do you think that's so? Comment down below.
Just
A lot of anxiety, a lot of tension. It's scary. You don't know if you're going to be able to have the same security going into your future as you did like 2 months ago.
There's more fear. There's more like, what am I going to do when my time is up here? You know, am I even going to be able to finish my time here based on how things are going?
I feel scared for our friends, for the international community, because I know like there's nothing that they can do.
Okay, we want to bring in immigration attorney Len Saunders to help us break down what is happening. Len, first off, apparently years ago you had a student visa yourself. So just how personal is this to you? And have you ever seen such a large number of student visas being revoked in a short time?
Well, you're correct. It's very personal to me. So I'm actually born in Canada. I got my law degree down at Pepperdine Law School in Malibu back in the mid-90s, and I had a student visa myself. So I came in on an F1 visa, went to school here for 3 years before I eventually immigrated and became a U.S. citizen. So, you know, I've been practicing immigration law for over 25 years. For me, this is unprecedented. I've never seen such a large amount of students who are being not so much deported, but they're having their visas revoked, being told to leave the United States. And the odd one is being picked up on the streets. You've seen it in the news, and physically removed from the United States. So I've never seen this before in my practice.
Right. And I'm sure there is a process here that's supposed to happen that is not happening. So can you go over how the government actually decides to revoke a visa?
So in the past, and I would get, 1 or 2 calls a year from, usually it was a parent who said, my kid's in the United States on a student visa, and they received a DUI or some sort of criminal conviction or criminal charge, and they were notified by the State Department that their visa had been revoked. So in the past, even though the visa was revoked, you could still remain in the United States because you had a valid entry. And you just couldn't come back. What's changed now is the visa's revoked, and then ICE is coming and telling people you need to leave immediately. So that's what's so different over the last 2 to 3 months from my prior experience with student visas being revoked.
And what exactly are the options for students in this situation? Do they have any?
There's really no due process. In the past, I would tell people, leave the country and then apply for a new visa, come on back, show that the criminal charge has been dismissed or dealt with. Now it seems like there's really no option other than to leave because you may have ICE coming knocking on your door.
Right. Wow.
You know any friends or relatives whose visa have been revoked? Comment down below, and we're gonna watch Secretary of State Marco Rubio's for the reasons that these student visas are revoked. So let's continue.
Come to this country as a student, we expect you to go to class and study and get a degree. If you come here to vandalize a library, take over a campus and do all kinds of crazy things, we're going to get rid of these people, and we're going to continue to do it. So when we identify lunatics like these, we take away their student visa. No one's entitled to a student visa. The press covers student visas like there's some sort of birthright. No, a student visa is like me inviting you into my home. If you come into my home and put all kinds of on my couch, I'm going to kick you out of my house. And so, that's what we're doing with our country, thanks to the president. If you come to this...
So you are a student, you got a student visa, and you come to the United States and try to incite violence or cause vandalism in the libraries or buildings, or you break the law, so you're gonna be deported. Your student's visa will be revoked. So did she do anything, the tough students, at the beginning of the video, did she do any of them? Let's see what the reporter asked, why the student visas was revoked, and let's see what he said.
Student in Boston was detained and handcuffed on the street by plainclothes agents. A year ago, she wrote an opinion piece about the Gaza war. Could you help us understand what the specific action she took led to her visa being revoked?
Yeah,
and what was your State Department's role in that process?
We revoked her visa. It's an F1 visa, I believe. We revoked it, and here's why. And I'll say it again. I said it everywhere. Let me be abundantly clear, okay? If you go apply for a visa right now, anywhere in the world, let me just send this message out. If you apply for a visa to enter the United States and be a student, and you tell us that the reason why you're coming to the United States is not just because you want to write op-eds, but because you want to participate in movements that are involved in doing things like vandalizing universities, harassing students, taking over buildings, creating a ruckus, we're not going to give you a visa. If you lie to us and get a visa and then enter the United States and with that visa participate in that sort of activity, we're going to take away your visa. And once you've lost your visa, you're no longer legally in the United States, and we have a right, like every country in the world has a right, to remove you from our country. So it's just that simple. I think it's crazy. I think it's stupid for any country in the world to welcome people into their country that are going to go to your universities as visitors. They're visitors. And say, I'm going to your universities to start a riot. I'm going to your universities to take over a library and harass people. I don't care what movement you're involved in. Why would any country in the world allow people to come and disrupt? Now, we gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses. We do it every day. Every time I find one of these lunatics, I take away their visa.
You're saying it could be more than 300
Sure,
visas?
I hope. At some point, I hope we run out because we've gotten rid of all of them. But we're looking every day.
He's looking every day. So looks like if you are students coming to the United States, do not get involved in any activism, right? That could cause riots. And she wrote the article amid the protests about her opinions, whatever. So that in their definition is a form of activism that could cause riots or that could cause vandalism, that could cause harassment among students, and disrupt the peace of student life. So let's see what the comments said, I love that we live in a country where if you have the wrong opinion, you can disappear by straight man wearing masks outside your house. Grabbing someone out of the street without any criminal charges is not necessary to revoke a visa. Fidel Castro would be proud of Rubio. Great. So why hasn't she been officially charged with any of the crimes that she did not commit? I think, that's another comment too. But it's okay to storm the Capitol, that whether the Library of Congress and the Vice President that gets pardoned. What are the freaking outrage? There are so many comments. You can read about it. Hey, here is the bottom line. Okay, if you are a student, you are a guest in the U.S., so your job is just to study, right? Just to study, not to express movement, support movement, activism, or anything like that. That's what I got from his interview. So what do you think? Comment down below. So how to protect your student residency in the U.S.? No criminal activities, obviously. Right? Do not get involved in any criminal activities, even DUI. Or if they are really strict, that if you violate the traffic laws, that could be an issue too. So no political activities, no social activism, just study. But you still have the right to date a future American world traveling millionaire lover, right? So that way, if you fall in love, you get married, and you get a green card for 2 years. So after that, you can become a U.S. citizen. Of course, you need to really love the person, okay? Do not commit any fraud in your marriage, whatever. If you are not lucky enough to meet a world traveling millionaire American, you can also study to get financial freedom, location freedom, time freedom like me. I made over 7,500 in 1 month by working only 2 to 3 hours a day anywhere around the world. So if you want to learn more how to retire early, how to retire rich and travel around the world, subscribe Rich Freedom Dragon Travel Adventure Lifestyle and go to my playlist. So I post travel videos and residency videos as well. If you want to get started on your financial freedom, location freedom, time freedom life, there are some links in my YouTube description and comment down below that gonna help you. Just click on the link and share, subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Bye.